I love in this when you say you're just a blob of potential.
Right. When you're born, you're just a pile of potential.
I think just a pile of, not a blob.
Yep.
I think that is so comical in its own right. You're just a
so good.
I'm gonna say blob. You're gonna say
Yep.
you're gonna pile. I'm gonna say blob because I think that's funny.
Yep, it is. It's so true though, right?
It is true.
And then the next sentence would be, can't even hold your head up.
Yeah.
I can't do anything, you know? Like
it's a cool perspective to look at it that way. One thing that, let's go through the three again, because you made some interesting points on like the actual tangible bank account, the big bank account, and then the time bank account. So in regards to, let's go like 1, 2, 3. So first bank account, like the actual physical cash, money, like that deposital bank account. I'm going to push, well, I can't even say, because I think you would agree, but like having money, it doesn't solve, it causes more problems, but I don't feel like I've ever seen a sad rich man. Sad in regards to like maybe family life or things like that, but money is the root to all problems. Money is the root to all evil, but it's without money, you can't operate, right? So
we're going to quote that correctly. That money, when people go, the money is the root of all evil, that's not the right sentence.
Okay.
You know the right sentence.
Do I?
Yeah.
I don't know.
The moment I say it, you're going to go, oh my God, that is the right sentence.
You probably will. That's where my head's at with it.
The love of money
is the root of all evil.
Right. No, that's why in here we say, it's good to get the money, but don't let the money get you.
Interesting, yeah.
Right. Because when the money gets you, now the money owns you. Yeah. And now you're loving the money and the game's over. Right.
That's tough, don't you think? I'm only saying that now because I'm starting to experience it again. I'm not trying to, anybody watch it. I'm not trying to sit here and say, yeah, it's not happening. It's just the idea of like now money is starting to come in from different assets, like just various places. You know what I mean? Where it's like, hey, I could do this. I could take this part and start investing into this part of the business and start branching out this way. And it's just starting to happen. So I'm looking at it more as like a pivotal point. It's not like I'm like, great, I have all this money now. Sure. The way I look at it is just like, it's just.
Money makes you feel good.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I've gotten some giant, the biggest paychecks I've ever gotten, I've written myself.
Yeah, that's a cool feeling. I finally did that for the first time. Let this be known. What's today's date actually? June 9th. The first time ever Lucchese Media wrote Ralph Lucchese his first paycheck.
Congratulations, Ralph.
It really is. Not awesome. Today. It was 2 days ago.
How neat.
Where I was sitting down, I was going through stuff, and it was like,
there's money to pay out.
What am I going to do? I was like, what do I have to get? Nothing. What about bills? God. Paid for. I was like, you're telling me I could give myself a paycheck?
Right.
Man, that felt so good because you have to sign the front then you flip it over to the bank. You sign it. Man, I remember we had that conversation and I was like, yo, that's a great experience.
It is so awesome.
It's a liberating, like, wow, you kind of, we got there. We're at that point.
Oh my God.
But anyway, to get back on track. So that's the right. So money's not the root of all evil. It's the love for money.
Yeah, love of money. And money, people that say, oh, money doesn't matter. They're lying.
Yeah.
Money matters a lot. You know, and it's like, it ranks up with air, you know, because I've said it before, like I've had money and I've not had money. It's better to have money.
Very good. Right. Money.
It's just the truth. I mean, money is a tool to use for something else, you know, and I always tell people, remember that as you make money, you can only get more money if your hands are open. The moment you go like this, no more money can flow through you. One of the great Rick said it to me, Rick Mikesell. He said to me one time, all casually out in the parking lot, he goes, God, yeah, you sure aren't afraid to spend money, Randy. I thought, man, that's a great compliment. Because like here, I take all the money that's ever come into Blue Ridge, I pour it back into Blue Ridge. And people see it all the time. They go, every time you come here, there's something new. Like, yeah, I'm not afraid to spend the money, to pour it back into it. You know, because basically when I'm spending the money on Blue Ridge, I'm betting on ourselves. I'm betting on the Blue Ridge team. I'm betting on myself. I'm betting on Tiff. I'm betting on the team of Blue Ridge, you know, by investing in what we're creating.
Yeah, because you're not flashy with it in a way. Like you're not taking the money and buying a flashy car. Well, even though it's well deserving, you know what I mean? It's a different mindset because there's people that would come across, but I think that falls into the love for money then.
Yeah,
right.
Even that though, Ralph. I mean, you know, my feelings and thoughts on that have changed over time.
Really?
When I was a young kid, my first car was a BMW.
Very nice.
And I bought it to be fancy. I did. I mean, I wanted to be fancy. I would polish it all the time and clean it up and make it was like sparkling. And then I kind of faded away from it. And, the word earnest was in my head. My car was earnest. My clothes were earnest. The Randy Pausch book influenced me big time. He talked about the word earnest. He goes, yep, my clothes got me through. You buy new clothes when your old clothes wear out. Yeah, and I kind of live by that. And then there's the element of like getting dressed in the morning. I wear a white t-shirt every day because it's just simple. It goes with everything. You don't have to think at all. You just get dressed and keep on going. And then you got the stuff from the guy who owns Facebook says, there's a certain amount of decisions you can make in a day. And if I wear the same shirt every day, I don't have to make that decision. Gives me one more decision to make. Yep, I'm with you on that. But then, like, what do I value? Like right now, getting back into ski racing. Yesterday, I spent like $3,000 on skis. Is that like, oh my God, Randy, sure are flashy? No, I'm into it.
How dare you?
Right, yeah, exactly. So if someone's really into fancy cars, you get the money to do it, enjoy it. Have fun. But I can tell you this, if your self-ego and your confidence and your personality is wrapped up in that car, you got a problem.
That's an issue.
Right. You lose the car, you just lost yourself. Mm-hmm. Right. So, and there's lies the difference.
Yeah. Because the car owns you at that point.
Pretty much. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's that connection.
Yeah. I always tell you, if you're treating your car better than your family, you have a problem. If you treat anything better than your family. I remember one time I was in high school in my BMW and a dog came running out. I was at a friend's house and the dog jumped up and like the dog like scratched the car. Right. And my response was, who cares? Just the car. The dog is more important than the car. Mm-hmm. But the person that owned the dog was like, ripping the dog away. And, like, oh, and I'm like, it's all good. That's okay. Dog was just really excited. The dog didn't know that the car had value. The dog was more important. It's a life and the car is not.
Yeah.
It has to do with the value system there, right?
What's in Randy, I think it's Randy Pausch's book. I have yet to read it. It's still on my list, but you talk about the story about is it the garbage?
Well, she backed in the garbage cans.
Yeah. And he's just like, no, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. The car accident.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one driver, 2-car wreck. Yeah. Yeah. It was one driver, 2-car wreck. She backed one car into the garbage can, another car. And he literally, he goes, she goes, should we get the car fixed? He's like, no, not really. She's like, wait a minute, we're going to drive wrecked cars? He goes, well, you like the part that I didn't care that it's wrecked. So then you got to take the other side too.
That's what it was.
Right?
Yeah.
But we're just going to drive them. Right.
Yeah. That's like I can only imagine if I said that to Diana, she'd be like, walk away, storming away. She would not like that comment.
Yep.
So that's bank account number one. Understood.
Yep. And there's rules to money, by the way.
Yep.
People that don't have money don't follow the rules.
Yeah, there are rules.
It doesn't take, like Warren Buffett's the best example of all that. Like he grew little by little, constantly, never retracting, never made a decision based on emotion to like lose what he gained. And now his gains are so unbelievable and they're compounding so much faster. So like, you can become extremely rich making $50,000 a year. Yeah. You just can. Yeah. It's how you manage it.
There was, and I know we've talked about it on previous podcasts, but now I'm kind of seeing it from that extent. It's like that there's like a set amount of money that one can make until it doesn't really.
70 grand.
Yeah.
That's about the number in today's
It's like,
society.
It doesn't matter. You can keep making it. It's like, it doesn't matter. You're not going to, you can find ways to do it. It's like, but more money, more problems. Cause it's like, guess what? You have to figure it out then. Like at that point. So there is that comfort point.
Yep.
Bank account 1.
Yep.
Now we go to 2, the bids. This one is
most important one, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I feel like I catch myself now. And I even like whisper in my head, I'm like, damn you, Randy. But like, cause we walk, like sometimes I feel like I miss a bid and I'll say it to die. I'll go, I feel like I missed it and I don't want to. And half the time she's just like, what are you talking about? I'm like, all right. But like, it's funny. You refer to the, and it's like, oh, I know that huff. I know that sigh. And it's like, hey, what can I do? It's like, nothing. I'm just, all right, well, let me know.
At least you connect, right?
Yeah, it's like, at least you know that it's here. Yeah, Diana got promoted today. This won't come out. Neat. Like literally on the way here while like I was dealing with my car. I was like, what's going on? She's like, I just hacked the promote. I was like, that's awesome. So it was like, awesome. Hey, just the little bits, but being aware, it's really cool because it's compounding. It's like, oh, the bids are there. And because it's the recognition and you're doing it, like I do what I love. It's not like because you're getting something out of it, but in turn, you are getting something out of it. You're happier, you're positive, you're more involved. You feel like you're having that deep, intimate connection. And it's like, you would have thought that just by acknowledging a simple, yeah, literally that simple can like take you over the hurdles in your relationship.
Yeah.
So
It has lots of side effects too. It keeps you living in the present moment. It keeps you actively listening. It keeps you focused on the good. You know, a lot of times people either live in the future or the past. And if you live in the past, you're depressed. Live in the future, you have anxiety. You live in the present moment, you're happy.
Yeah.
And, you know, living in the moment by watching out for bids for connection, it forces you to actively listen and be in the moment. But I can tell you this bit, Ralph, I miss bids every day. Every day.
Do you catch yourself missing them though? Like, do you know? And when you do it, you're like, oh, son of a gun.
Yeah. And sometimes I'm not big enough to actually say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happened the other day where Tiff and I were out with the wagon and we're pulling the wagon. And I was frustrated over something. I forget what it was. I was frustrated about something. And Tiff said something to me about like, hey, it was something about the wagon. Like you want to, let's remember we'll take the wagon on the trip we're going on. And I'm like, yeah, sounds good. Well, she wanted to have a conversation there. She wanted the conversation. Let's remember to take the wagon on the trip we're going on. Oh yeah, we sure will. Oh my God, I can't wait for that. And I missed it.
I see.
You know, and I wasn't big enough. I was too frustrated in the moment to go back to her and say, hey, I'm sorry I did that. Even as of today, I still haven't. Oh, today I will. You know, but
you're gonna come home with 4 wagons. Which one do you want,
exactly.
honey?
Right.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is, right?
That's very funny. Yeah, but the bid's very crucial, very important. And the third one, the time bank, that one's always like a frustrating one, I feel, because everybody knows that you have to spend time regardless if you like it or don't like it. It's still happening. So it's something that's constantly being taken away from you. Mm-hmm. So valuing your time is something that you have to, I don't want to say learn. No, I will say learn because and I'm learning that now at the step, right? Like now that the business is starting to transition to this period, it's like now, what's the price? I had to say price of your time, but it's like, how do you now value your time? Mm-hmm. Like I can't be spending time doing this now because I need to focus on this. So now it's in my best interest to find someone that's really good at this to then do it. And it's like, hey, I can actually I could actually do this. You can, right? So I think that quantifying time, right? Where you're quantifying and finding the value of time. I think that's like something that eventually people, if you get to that level or whatever, it's a whole different concept because it's like, wow, you're actually just, you're buying your time. You're not getting it back, but you're essentially allowing yourself and opening the doors to different avenues, therefore to get your time back.
It's true. When you hire someone, you are buying more time. You're buying their time.
Yep.
You know, so when you hire someone, you bought their time to use for your time.
Yep.
You know, yeah, I'm with you. And it's, you ever hear how hard, we talked about it before, hard time pushes out soft time. We did this, right? And the law excluded alternative when it comes to time. You know, how when you choose to do one thing, you're unchoosing everything else in your life. You know, a lot of people don't realize that, you know, like, you know, if you go to work and you're choosing to chit chat with your coworker, you're unchoosing the work.
Yep.
And the work doesn't go away. So what happens is then the work will go home with you. And then hard time pushes out soft time. So the work that didn't get done at work goes home with you. And then it pushes out the soft time, which is the time with your family. And just like that, you've chosen that it's more important to chit chat with my coworker than it is to spend time with my wife and kids. But people don't connect that. But that's exactly what's playing out in their life. It's the law of the excluded alternative. By choosing one thing, you're excluding everything else in your life. And everything hard pushes out everything soft.
And then guess what? Because of that, you're missing bids. And there goes that bank account.
Yeah.
And when you miss the bids and your family's gone and then you lose your job because you're not focused, there goes number one.
Ralph just figured out life.
Follow the bouncing ball.
Right?
We figured it out.
It's awesome.
I love that. Thank you, Randy.
See you, man.